Welcome everybody to my latest video. I had someone send me a message and they were curious to know how difficult it was to create your own Mame control panel. Now, to tell you the truth, it's really not that difficult. You just gotta know where to buy the items that you need. Now, when you're playing Mame, it wants you to use a keyboard. And if you ever played an arcade game using a keyboard, you'll know that it pretty much sucks ass. So then you need to decide, do you want to buy your own control panel or do you want to make it? And if you buy it, well, there it is, problem solved. But they can get a little pricey. Some people want to make their own. This right here, as you can see, is a 2-player 7-button layout. And I got some extra buttons on each side. So this is, your standard layout. Some people want a control panel that's only for a single player. Some want them for as many as 4 players. So if you're going to make your own control panel, that's the first thing you need to decide is what you want your housing unit to be, your box. Now, if you don't have the skills or the tools to make your own, you can always buy a pre-made kit. I believe Mame World, or maybe it's mameroom.org, they sell pre-built control panel kits. It doesn't have any buttons, it doesn't have any wiring or joysticks. All it is your box, but what it does have is everything's been pre-drilled. So you can go that route, or I'm sure there's plenty of people that on the internet who will make you one, just people who do this to make an extra buck on the side. So anyways, once you decide on what type of box you're going to get, now comes buying all the parts. You can get joysticks, buttons, all that good stuff. Groovy Game Gear is one of the places I get my stuff. They're real good. Jamaboards.com, sometimes they have some stuff. So you just need to decide where it is you want to buy this, and prices vary. Once you get those, then the next thing you need to do is to buy the interface. And give me a minute and I'll show you what that is. Okay, next thing you need to buy is your interface. And there's multiple ones available. I personally prefer the IPOC 2 boards. IPOC or IPAC, I don't know how it's properly pronounced, but anyways, I got this from ultramark.com. And what this does is basically it tricks your computer into thinking that you're using a keyboard. Now it comes time to start wiring everything up. And if you can see, this side of this unit, right here is player 1 side, here is player 2 side. And I don't know if you can make it out, but you can see right there we have ground. 1 right, that means joystick right, left, up, down, there's switch 1, better known as button number 1, goes all the way down to button number 8, and then you got 1 player start, 1 player coin. And it's pretty much the same thing on this side, only for player 2. Now how this works is, this is basically where it all starts. What happens is you have these little switches under your buttons. So when you order the button, this should come with it. And it's real cheap. You can get these for like as low as 99 cents together. Some places charge as much as $2.50. So you just gotta shop around. Anyways, put your button in your control panel, flip it upside down, you install this thing, and it's real easy. You can see it's got little grooves right here, and just locks into place. See? So when you press the button here, what's happening is there's this little lip that's pushing this button. Now how this works is you got these 3 prongs that stick out. Don't worry about this one. This top one is your ground. So you take a ground wire, you connect it there, and the other end you connect there. Now usually the ground wire is black, It really doesn't matter as far as color. Wire is wire. But basically, you get your wire, expose it a little bit, put it into that slot right there, screw down the screw. That's it. It's connected. So that's the ground wire. This one right here, this represents your function wire, so to speak. So if you want this button on your control panel to represent player 1, button number 1, you go to your IPOC right here, go down to switch 1 for player 1, and you do the same thing you did with the ground. You just put it in that slot, screw it down. That's it. And you do that all for all the buttons you want. You don't have to use every single one of these slots. You may just want to create a cabinet for Final Fight, in which you would only use buttons 1 and 2 for the most part. So anyways, after you get everything all wired up there that way, you gotta make sure all your grounds are wired. And as you can see, there's only one area for ground on player 1. Well, if you got 8 buttons plus the joystick movements, you're probably wondering, well, where do all the ground wires go? Well, they all basically go to here, but they daisy chain off of each other. And if you don't know what that means, basically you take one wire, connect it here to one button, and you go over and then you connect it to another button. And then with that same wire, you go to another area, another button, you connect it again and again and again. So eventually everything's all connected up, and then you just put it in the ground slot. It works on the joysticks too. Here's a basic layout of what your joystick is. And as you know, you move the handle, and there's usually another head adapter right here. So when you move this, there's something that presses these buttons. So if I move the joystick handle down, or up, or left, right now I'm moving it into the up position. So this represents player 1 up. So I connect my wires, and when I'm all the way over here, I daisy chain the ground, and here we go, 1 up. That's player 1 up. That's really it. That's all you have to do. Okay, now here's a look on the inside of my control panel. And you can see I have everything wired up. Here is player 2 side, player 1 side, and it's all wired up into my iPack. Here it is. Here's one without any wiring, and there's mine fully wired up. You can see right there is the PS2 cable, which comes from here, and that goes straight to my computer, and I'm able to play Mame games. Now, right here you'll notice I got Optical 360 joysticks. Now these joysticks are a little bit different. One difference between these and regular joysticks is they require an additional 5 volts. And I'll show you where we get that 5 volts. Okay, now on those Optical 360 joysticks right there, we get the additional 5 volts from these prongs right here. Those joysticks have some additional wiring, and both the player 1 and player 2 just gets hooked into this area right here. So if you're looking to get those joysticks, that's where you're going to get the additional 5 volts. So there it is. If anybody has any questions, feel free to message me. I'll try and answer them. Hopefully this answers the questions I've already received. So until next time.